Alright, so it's time to check out the biggest games hitting PS4 and 5 this week, and we've got a solid mix here, from potential indie gems to remasters. We've even got a Yakuza game that's gone full pirates. Basically, if you're looking for something new to play, I've got you covered. And if you enjoy these weekly roundups, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We do this every single Sunday, alongside reviews, deals and news for all things PlayStation throughout the week. Before we do jump into this week's new releases, then a quick note. Last week's State of Play gave us a stealth drop with Warriors Abyss, a curious mix of Warrior-style combat and roguelike mechanics. Now if you missed it, it is out now, and I've got a review coming up here on the channel very soon, so do keep an eye out for that. Alright, let's get into this week's lineup. Berserk Boy is making its way to PlayStation, and I can already vouch for this one. I played and reviewed it on the Switch, and it is fantastic. Now, if you're into Mega Man style action, this is a must play. Now, as you progress, your abilities grow, and the action gets more intense, making for an incredibly fun and fast-paced experience. Plus, I'm personally a big fan of the chunky pixel art. It just looks great in motion. Now you'll be playing as Kai, a rookie hero who gains the power of the Berserk orbs. That's lightning, fire, earth, air and ice. Basically it's transforming you into Berserk Boy. Your goal? Take down the evil Dr. Genos and his army before they take over the world. The gameplay, it's all about chaining combos, filling up your Berserk meter and of course unleashing these incredibly powerful attacks. It's not just a straightforward platformer either. I do want to note that there are Metroidvania elements, there's hidden missions, and there's alternate paths to discover as you dash, slam and slide your way through New Hope City. Topping it off then, the soundtrack is composed by Sonic Mania's T. Lopez, and it is something special. Lost Records Bloom and Rage Tape 1 arrives this week, and it's dropping straight onto PlayStation Plus Premium as well, so if you're a member, maybe check it out there. This one though, it's definitely a niche title. It's not something that's going to be for everyone, and no doubt, some folks will slap the woke label on it because that's just the thing to do these days. But putting that aside, it's from the team behind Life is Strange, and I'm definitely curious to check it out. They've already announced Tape 2 is coming in a couple of months. What I can't figure out is it a two-part story or will more tapes follow? Now, the game rewinds to 1995 following Swan, a quirky introvert, and her friends Nora, the rebellious firecracker, Autumn, the thoughtful leader, and Kat, the strong-willed enigma. Now, that summer in Velvet Cove, it's packed with unforgettable moments, but by the time it ends, so does their friendship. Now though, fast forward 27 years, and fate pulls them back together to confront a long-buried secret from that summer. So basically the game is playing across two timelines, with your choices in both 1995 and 2022 shaping the story. The conversations then are dynamic. You can interrupt, stay silent, or guide your relationships in different directions. There's also a camcorder mechanic, letting you capture moments from that summer, though it might just pick up more than you expect. Cabernet arrives this week, and there's definitely an audience excited for this one. Personally, I'm not completely sold on the visual style, but it's actually been a long time coming. It was originally set to launch last year before facing a couple of delays, and now they're finally getting hands-on with it. And the concept itself is pretty intriguing too. It's a 2D narrative RPG set in a 19th century Eastern European-inspired world, but with a modern twist. Now you'll be playing as Lisa, a young vampire struggling with her morality and the supernatural world she's been pulled into. The big question, will you try to hold on to your humanity or embrace the monster you've become? Your choices here are going to shape how you navigate a world filled with political intrigue, class conflict and corruption. You'll mingle with vampire societies, feed on humans, and decide whether to help or manipulate those around you. So yeah, basically understanding your prey, what they desire, their fears, their weaknesses, that's all going to be key to luring them in. It's also not just about bloodlust either. Knowledge is power here. Art, literature, science, and history all play a role in how you navigate this world, and basically it's all about outlasting the brutal pieces you see around you. So yeah, could be a unique take on vampire lore with a strong focus on choice and consequence. X-Out Resurfaced is getting a remaster this week, and honestly, I had an Amiga back in the day, but I don't remember this one. That said, I do love a good shoot-'em-up, so I'll definitely be checking it out, and from the sounds of it, a lot of love has been poured into this remake. Now, the visuals have been, first of all, fully redrawn with high-resolution sprites, lighting, and particle effects, while the soundtrack, composed by Turrican legend Chris Hulsbeck, has been remastered along with 6 brand new tracks. They've also improved the shop system, making it easier to jump in with pre-configured loadouts, clearer item descriptions, and marked weapon slots for better customization. This one then as well, supposedly very challenging, and if that feels like too much, there's local co-op, so you can team up with a friend, and if you're even looking for a twist, there's something called a mirror mode, which flips the levels for a new experience. Then finally, for those that maybe just want to breeze straight through the game, they've added cheats. So yeah, this seems like it could be a great way to experience this classic, whether for the first time or, again, years later. Stories from Soul of the Gundog is one I've been looking forward to for a while now, and honestly, I barely know anything about it, but I don't need to. We had a demo ages ago, and from that moment, I was sold. Something about the overall vibe and the visuals just won me over. Now, I know it's not exactly pushing the PlayStation hardware, but I need to play this. I just have to decide now whether it's going to be like PlayStation or Switch, but if you're curious, the demo is live on PlayStation right now. Maybe check it out. Now, the game itself is set in Planetary Calendar 214, 4 years after the Solar War. You play as a security officer aboard the Gundog, a patrol ship sent to investigate strange signals on the edge of Jovian space. So what starts as a routine mission here quickly spirals into something much more dangerous as an unknown threat begins terrorizing the crew. Paranoia sets in, conspiracies unravel, and it's up to you to keep the ship from falling apart, both literally and socially. So yeah, it plays like a classic point-and-click adventure, letting you explore the ship, examine detailed backgrounds, and interact with different crew members. Paying attention to their words, spotting key items, and making the right choices here will be key to uncovering the truth. Please Be Happy is one for the visual novel fans. I like some of the genre entries, but this one isn't really pulling me in. Maybe it's for you, but it's set in a fictional version of Wellington, New Zealand. It follows Miho, a fox-turned human who spent years searching for the traveller who once showed her kindness. Despite observing humans for so long, she still struggles to understand them and has survived mostly as a thief. That starts to change, however, when she meets Juliet, a small library owner, and Aspen, an aspiring novelist. Through them, she begins to see the good in people, not just the bad. So yeah, it seems like it's a comfy slice of life story with two different routes. It's also got full English voice acting and an original soundtrack. So yeah, look, if you're into visual novels, it might be worth checking out. RPG Maker With is coming to PlayStation, and it was relatively well received on the Switch. The name pretty much says it all. It's a tool for making RPGs. Now, personally, I've never messed with one of these, and from what I hear, they can be pretty complex. This version in particular, from what I know, doesn't seem to do the best job of explaining its system, so expect a pretty steep learning curve. The idea is simple though, no programming knowledge required, just use its built-in tools to create your perfect game. You can also check out other creators' work for free and even share your own projects at any stage of development. One cool feature though is that anyone can download the player to play other people's creations for free, even if they don't own the full game. I think that's a really nice touch for those who just want to experience what the community is making. Whisker Squadron Survivor is one of the big releases for me this week. I follow the creator on Twitter. I've been begging for this to come to Switch, but instead it's landing on PlayStation, and I am all for that. It's basically a love letter to Star Fox, and it looks incredible. If you've played Race the Sun, which they also made, you will know they've just got a knack for kind of tight, fast-paced gameplay. Now this one, it's a roguelike shooter where you take control of a squad of feline pilots known as the Whisker Squadron. You'll pick a ship, customize it with your preferred weapons, and take on the Swarm, a robotic army of bugs controlled by a shadowy corporation. Now each run here is randomized with a dynamic galaxy map, letting you chart your own path through 3 acts of non-stop action. And here you'll fight waves of enemies, take on massive bosses, and slowly uncover more about your crew and their leader. Between runs then you can spend your earnings on permanent ship upgrades, as well as unlock new weapons. It also then features a fully voiced cast, multiple ships and weapons to experiment with, and a bunch of challenges to complete. If you're then, on top of all of this, looking for an extra test, there are difficulty mods to crank things up, and yeah, I think this one's going to be an absolute blast. It's a day one buy for me. Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii is the final game of the week and easily the one I'm most excited for. I cannot wait for this. There's a demo live right now, definitely check it out, because this seems like it's going to be something special. I mean, who could say no to the Yakuza framework we love, but with pirates and naval battles? It's a day one must play, personally, and if you've never played Yakuza games before, seriously, just go play them all. You will not be disappointed. This time, though, you're stepping into the steel-toed boots of Majima, yes, Majima, who's lost his memory and somehow ends up reinventing himself as a pirate. Now shipwrecked on a remote Pacific island with no memory of who he is, he sets sail with a kid named Noah who saved his life. Before long, he's caught up in high-stakes battles between criminals, modern-day pirates, and all kinds of scoundrels fighting over what is a treasure. So yeah, come here to assemble a crew, upgrade your ship, engage in those full-on battles, maneuvering into position, dodging enemy fire, blasting rival ships with cannons, and then you'll get the boredom for all-out brawls. And yes, it's still got that signature Yakuza combat, but this time with two styles. Mad Dog, which focuses on speed and agility, and Sea Dog, where you dual wield short swords and use pirate tools to take down enemies in over-the-top fashion. So yeah, basically, it's Yakuza meets Pirates of the Caribbean. Absolute chaos, and I am all for it. And that is the week's new PlayStation games. Will you be adding anything to the library? Let me know in the comments. With that then, do me a favour and subscribe. It helps out the channel a huge amount. And yeah, I'll see you all on the next one. Cheers all.